what is that little beast that tells you like don't do that in front of people? Like right now, that truck just pulled up and I just felt weird, like recording myself. That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. It's like, at the same time, I sit here and think like nobody thinks like me, but at the same time, I know people think like me, which is weird. But maybe because I don't really see too many people just put themselves out on the line and just throw themselves out to the world. You know? I don't know. Because like this whole process that I'm doing right now is like a process that I would do by myself and really truly think like how I want to become as a person, what I want to be as a person. And like let's just say like bad tendencies I'm going down, you know, like the ego tendency where it's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because at the same time the ego can destroy you, but it could also help you through leaps and bounds and everything in life, you know. With women it helps you because like when they see that ego in you, part of it kind of they like it because you're gonna take care of it. You're gonna take care of whatever needs to be done. It's gonna be taken care of because it has your pride on the line. With sports, there's a kind of certain ego that comes with that. Is you have that now mental advantage where that person, when they're looking at you and you look at them right back in the eye, and you know like they know like damn like he's not scared of me. That's what's scary. So there's a good ego in that. There's good egos in everything, but also there's egos that think you can be right about everything. Or think you could make things better. So that's one thing that I kind of came to the realization this year, which was like things don't work out for reasons, and you really have to think about what you're going to need to put effort into in order for a good possible outcome. So let's just take this for example. I'll just tell you about like my life for example too. Like there's certain people that come in and out of your lives that have passed on, like not died. I mean, like have like you say you ran a, let's just say with women for example. You meet this girl, cool, pops off, then it doesn't work out, and then thinking later on that you could be better, well that you are better, and that like okay it could work now. It's something that I've been trying to get away from with like friendships, relationships, overall people in general, thinking that I could do it better the second time around. Because one thing I've come to find, as much as you've changed as a person and how you think that you got it down to the key and like you think you could do it right the second time, I think it's a matter of just proving yourself. Really, I don't think there's any benefit that comes down to it. It's more so proving that you could. That's where my ego takes over. It was like, oh no, second time around I for sure got this in the bag. And a lot of times I forget that people change just as much as I change, and that's one thing that's so crazy. It's so crazy to me because I changed like crazy. Like within this year alone I've gone through like 3 different personalities and 3 different internal feelings, where it was like they've just changed just throughout this year, and then I still have another year after that, and then I still got like years and years and years and years after that to come. And putting it onto scale like that just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. It makes me excited, it makes me nervous, it makes me worrisome, because there's also a lot of room for mistakes. There's a lot of room for going down the wrong path and continuing down the path and then continuing and continuing until at one point you're too far. So it's making sure the decisions that I make right now don't affect me in the long run. And decisions, I don't mean like life decisions, like buying this, buying that. Granted, yeah, I don't go around wasting your money. But I think emotional decisions are super important on what you prioritize. Do you prioritize sex over money? Do you prioritize sex over certain things? Like, and I'm using sex as a good example just because, like, some guys that just get blinded by sex, like once they get in their life, boom, 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 that's all they pursue, that's all they chase. So at the same time, was okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing to indulge in? Okay, if it's something that's good to indulge in, yes, okay, granted, you get like satisfaction on it, but in the long run you don't get that satisfaction because at the end you're still alone. So there's these little tiny paths that you need to take and need to think about, think through and through without, like even with the whole money thing. Like for me, my main motivation is money, is fame, I guess you could say. But at the same time, it is helping people. It is making the love for people. Those, I feel like they go hand in hand, because if you really want to show love to people, you gotta have the money for it. Granted, you can show love to people just how I do on a daily basis, by telling people I love them, by making sure I go out and extending my hand out to people. But I think what in the physical realm, granted that's just an emotional response that they can get at the moment, but in the physical, where you could like give somebody like, here, I got you this, I got you this, I got you this, I was thinking about you, just throwing money everywhere, it's something that I strive for. And then I've gone down that path, whether it's a good path or a bad path, but I do think at the end of the day it does lead down to the true love of people, because even if I had all that money but didn't do none of that, it would be useless, because I don't, as much as I do it for me, I do it for the people around me. So that's the path that I've seen for myself, and I do truly think I'm going down that path, and I make sure I keep myself in check. You know, any things that I do wrong, any things that I don't do right, like that, I'm just like, okay, don't go down that, bro. You're better than that. Let's take it back. But at the same time, there's a level of anxiety that I do not have, that most people have, that I've realized, because I used to have it. Whenever I used to make a mistake and I would just let it eat me inside and let it dread me. You know that feeling you just get when you like just did something bad when you were a kid, and you're not telling your mom, but you know what bad thing you did, and she doesn't know, but you kind of just want to tell her just because how bad it's making you feel. That's gone away from me, and I don't know if that's, you know, a normal thing, because I still do know a lot of people with like anxiety and have this like a lot of just built up tension inside of them. And I think that's gone away just because I've you know, dove into life and realized that like at the end of the day, shit really doesn't matter. I could be homeless, I could be, you know, I have just no clothes on my back, but I'd still be a pretty happy person, I think. I would like to think, because at the end of the day I would still help people. So I feel like any decision I make or anything that happens in life, you can't worry too much about. So with that being said though, doing bad things causes certain anxieties, and when you no longer have those anxieties, and when you do bad things and you no longer feel that certain remorse, you don't learn as good. So you really need to put yourself into check. So that's one thing that I've realized that I had to do with myself. Like I really need to sit down and think about the actions I did during this week and see what's a good path and what's a bad path, and what path I gotta just like stop, or any bridges that I burned by accident. You know, sometimes I come off bad sometimes, and don't even realize, because I don't have the certain remorse for it. And so I really got to take a step back and think, okay, would I like if somebody told me that, even though I wasn't even thinking about their feelings, because a lot of times you just think about yourself. So you really got to take a step back and really put yourself in other people's shoes, other people's perspectives. Ooh, spit a little bit. But other people's perspectives, and build off of that. So, yeah. And scene. That was my monologue. I talk a lot. I really do. But, man, oh man, this is a crazy world we live in. Look at this view. Look at it. It's not even a crazy view, but it's just like the homies, like the homes, not the homies, but the homes, you know, all the homes, just the pretty blue skies. This is life, you know, just sitting down in a truck bed and talking to a camera. I love it. How can you not? How can you not love it? Alright, y'all. I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you really did listen this long, I highly doubt that, but man, you're something else. Truly do love you guys. Peace out. I will see you at the top. Deuces.